My name is Hilke Schellmann. I'm an investigative reporter, and I wrote a book called The Algorithm. Over the last 6 years, I've come to understand that nearly all large companies in the United States are using AI-based hiring tools somewhere in the hiring process. And so do job platforms like LinkedIn, Monster, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and others. They're resume screeners, AI games to find the right personality trait for jobs, AI-operated social media background checks, and one-way video interviews, where candidates get pre-recorded questions on their devices and record themselves answering. The vendors of these tools sell a great idea. AI hiring will cost less money and make hiring more efficient. AI hiring will find the most qualified candidates for the job and is overall less biased than humans making hiring decisions. And indeed, the vendors are right about a few things. AI tools speed up the hiring process and save companies a ton of money. And we humans are not very good at hiring. People of color, older workers, women, and people with disabilities have been underestimated for decades and have gotten fewer chances in the workplace compared to white men. So I wanted to know a little bit more how these tools work and how it feels to be a job applicant being asked to use these tools. So I tested them. And one of the tools I tested was marketed to companies in the West hiring call center employees in the Global South. And one of their criteria was how well do the candidates speak English? And I started first speaking English, answering the questions, and I got an 8.5 out of 9 English proficient. I was very proud because English is actually my second language. So I was like, yeah, this tool works.
Please try to not take long pauses.
I wanted to push the algorithm a little bit. I read a Wikipedia entry in German that had nothing to do with work.
Theorie und Methode des psychologischen Messens.
And I sent it out to be scored, and I thought I would get an error message back. I got an email, and it said that I scored 6 out of 9 and that my English level was proficient, which was surprising because I didn't say a word of English, that this tool could actually infer how well I speak English. I got in touch with the company and asked them for comment and speak through this, and they kind of didn't know either why I was scored this way. I kept asking, like, why was I scored 6 out of 9? And they kept explaining that German and English in a 5D AI space were close together, but they couldn't actually answer how was I scored. I talked to a couple of employment lawyers, and they shared with me that many of the resume screeners they looked at had biased variables. One tool gave folks who had the word baseball on their resume more points, and folks who had the word softball on their resume fewer points. The job had nothing to do with sports. In the United States, unfortunately, this may be a case of gender discrimination because more men like and play baseball and more women like and play softball. A lot of times, resume screeners are trained with resumes from people who are currently in the job. So if a company has had biased hiring processes in the past and maybe has more men in roles, the AI tool may find there's a lot of people who had the word baseball on their resumes, and that was a predictor of success. So what does this all mean for people looking for jobs today? A lot of the tools I've investigated are not ready for prime time and shouldn't be used in high-stakes decision-making, including hiring. I'm not saying we should go back to human hiring. What I'm saying is let's build better tools and not take the bias that we see in humans and put them into the system and hide them under technology. I want HR managers and folks building these tools to steal my methods and test these tools themselves first, because we clearly need better tools, better oversight, and regulations.